to Kingdom Unit Trust's Making Money Make Sense with Comfort Mbofana. On this show, you will receive financial advice to help you make wise decisions about your money and make it grow.
Kingdom Unit Trusts. Making money make sense.
Welcome, Zimbabwe, to another episode of Making Money Make Sense, brought to you by Kingdom Unit Trusts. In the studio with me today is veteran broadcaster now, Effort Zaranyike, head of Unit Trusts, and also another veteran broadcaster because they come here so often, Caspar Cheta. They're both from the Unit Trust. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Comfort, and good morning to our listeners.
Good to have you back, Caspar. What are we talking about today?
Thank you, Comfort. So far in the program, we have looked at 3 of the 6 funds offered by Kingdom Unit Trust, namely the Kingdom Gross Income Fund, the Growth and Stability Fund, and the High Interest Fund. If our listeners have missed any of these exciting episodes, they can access them from our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Afrasia Kingdom Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Caspar. Now I can recap on the advice you've heard. Effort.
Yes, but today we want to look at the Kingdom Wealth Fund. The Wealth Fund is a share market-based fund that invests in listed companies on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. The fund's objective is to beat inflation over the long term. This fund is suitable for investors who want to create wealth in the long run. You're talking of 1 year to 5 years. The investors who want to invest with a long-time horizon in mind, for their children's fees,
school fees,
college fees. If you're looking to reinvest your income or have little need for investment income, the Wealth Fund is for you.
So the greater the risk, Caspar, the higher the potential return.
Well, Comfort, the Wealth Fund invests in blue chip shares, that is, shares of established companies that have stability and have a strong performance track record. The Kingdom Wealth Fund reduces risk exposure by investing in a variety of sound and performing shares while increasing the prospects of higher returns. The risk is spread among many strong counters, thereby reducing the possibility of incurring losses. It is a fund for the investor who understands risk but wants to maximize his or her investment returns over the long term.
What then is the difference between my buying shares directly on the stock market and opting perhaps for the Wealth Fund? Effort.
Well, Comfort, in both cases, the end result is that one would have bought shares on the stock market. The main difference, though, being that the risk is greater when you invest in a single share or counter. But in the Wealth Fund, the risk is spread and reduced since the fund invests in a pool of shares. Thus, we are avoiding putting all our eggs in one basket. Besides that, it is easier, cheaper and less demanding as our professionals do all the research and selection for shares on your behalf. Ordinarily, one would have to have time to keep track on a daily basis of what would have been going on the stock market due to other commitments. In this case, all that the investor has to do is to deposit his or her funds and then watch the market grow. And should you decide to go it alone, you have to remember that it is not easy to play the stock market.
What's been the performance of the fund then since the beginning of the year?
Since the beginning of the year, the Wealth Fund has attracted a solid growth of 21%. Growth in the future will, however, be determined by market conditions, as historical performance is not necessarily an indication of what will transpire in the future. As we may now understand, with shares there are no guarantees, but at the same time they present opportunities to make great wealth to those who dare to take the risk. Our professional staff is there to ensure that investors make the most from their invested funds and mitigate the risk by choosing the best counters. And by the way, one can start investing with as little as $100 for a minimum period of 90 days.
In this segment, we have prizes to give away to some lucky listeners. All you have to do is call in, answer a very easy question from today's episode, and you could be a winner. For the telephone question, Effort.
What types of shares does the Kingdom Wealth Fund invest in?
That's a simple one. What types of shares does the Kingdom Wealth Fund invest in? Call in right now on 04, that's a round number, 660-897 or 660-299. For the Facebook question, now this one is only for Facebook. Caspar, what's the question?
What is the objective of the Wealth Fund and how has it performed since the beginning of the year?
Okay, for that question only, go to Facebook, which is www.facebook.com/Afraise Kingdom Zimbabwe. Okay, let's go to our telephone lines. Thanks, gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Comfort.
Thanks, Comfort.